What's up, fellow lords of gaming, and welcome back to another episode of Marvel Future Revolution. This is going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly Omega cards. Before we jump into that, though, I want to let you guys know that we've got the live stream that is coming tomorrow, or well, tonight at 8 p.m. I do plan on live streaming my reaction to this. I'm hoping that we get more information about the companion system. I imagine we're going to get companion system information, although if I'm being perfectly honest, I'm looking forward to more information about this conversion system, since I'm sitting on quite a few resources in game, and I would like to see whether or not I'm going to actually be able to use those resources. I am praying in all hopes and odds that we are not going to have to pay a heavy premium in order to convert it, but somehow I just don't see that happening. So we'll see. I got the feeling that it's going to probably be Omega points and probably or some kind of cash shop item that's inside there. But tune in tomorrow 8 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll jump into that, and we'll probably play through some of the game as well. On the next note, however, we're going to talk about this good, the bad, and ugly series, but we're going to also lead in with some information that I forgot to share about you guys. It was really interesting because I was playing Marvel Future Revolution, leveling up my Makari character from the Eternals update there. You can see, you know, Icarus, Makari, and Cersei here. And I realized I forgot about something in this game, and that in Marvel Future Fight, they basically essentially have somewhat of a companion system. You have what are called ally shifters and dimension shifters. And so your allies, you can call in for assistance, and they appear on screen and they assist you with the battle for a time. So you can see I basically called in Cersei here, and she basically is assisting me. Along with this, you also have the ability to have shifters help out in battle. They don't always spawn, but they do have them in there. Now I'm wondering how much we can basically digest from this. Like, you see Cersei still hanging out with me inside here. She's basically, I can't remember how long she's in there. Maybe it's like 30 seconds or something like that inside there. I'm interested to know, interested to see, because your dimension shifters will show up and they'll be companions pretty much throughout the entirety of the mission that you're running. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm going to bring more of this when we talk about when they actually reveal stuff, but it was really funny that that came up, and I just wanted something for you guys to be aware of. Like I told you guys, I'm pretty much always playing Marvel Future Fight while I play Marvel Future Revolution, or vice versa. It doesn't make a difference. I'm usually got both of them up on my screen. So anyways, let's jump into this good, the bad, and the ugly and the comic cards. And mostly, you know, this is going to probably be a down and dirty quick video, because there's a lot of good, there's a lot of bad, and there's a lot of ugly inside this thing. I'm going to jump out and go in reverse order, because I think it's going to probably benefit most players the best in terms of looking at that. Ugly. There's really only one thing that's really truly ugly about the Omega card system, and that is specifically the exclusive stat. So even currently, with the ability that they're probably bringing to the forefront in this update, the ability to convert and move cards and costumes from character to character, the exclusive stat and all your other stats are basically going to roll over. At this point right now, we have no way of re-rolling exclusive stats, and I don't feel like that change is likely to come in the game, because they don't have another mechanism to continue your desire to purchase these cards, especially if you're hunting down special cards. So for instance, you know, if you're looking for your free-to-play victory cards inside the game, like if I go to card sets and we say, hey, you're looking for the free-to-play options, Xanderf and these things like that I've mentioned to you guys, and you want to get those cards and you get the exclusive stats on them, well, you're more than likely going to run into a few of these cards where it's going to be easy for you to re-roll them, right? But for players who are like, you know, whales and play-to-play players who are hunting down these special cards, well, the exclusive stat is a measure in which they get to basically continue to roll you into these cards where you continually have to purchase them, because with the exclusive stat on there, I don't have a reason to actually re-roll the card. Meaning, like, you know, if I go inside the shop, for instance, in here, and I want a new card, right? And I go for the draw and we have the Omega card come up. There's only a few Omega cards in the game entirety itself right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think it is, and then 8, 9, something like that. You've got about 10 cards in the game overall right now that are special cards. Now, if I get these cards and I have them and I acquire them, what reason do I have to continue to draw if I have them? It's not as if, for instance, that these bonus stats that are going to be applied are going to vary, but so much. The thing that's going to change, that's going to irritate me the most, is that exclusive stat, especially if I don't get something specific to what I wanted, like PvP damage and so forth like that, or a cooldown decrease, right? But once you get that air to surface or ground to surface, that card almost becomes null, meaning that you don't really have a use for it because you're losing out on a good actually stat, meaning like you're losing out on 5% bonus to some specific stat in the game that could be very useful, you know, 10% at most if you're looking at, you know, PvP damage and so forth like that. So it's one of those things where you're really looking at the Omega card system, you're like, yeah, that kind of sucks. I'm going to consistently be rolling for these. So for instance, like if you looked at my Omega cards set up inside the game right now, I basically have quite a few of the Omega cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I even have some duplicates sitting inside here. This is not a flex. I apologize if it appears that way. This is not a flex. So I've got like the Doctor Strange cards sitting over here. So I've got 7 special cards out of the total, and I'm only really missing the Spider-Man and Black Widow card. I'm going to imagine it's probably take me forever to get those cards, but if you look at the ones that I have equipped on here, you can see I have some good rolls, but then you can see air to surface damage, right? Terrible. Air to surface damage, terrible. Air to surface damage. So out of the 5 cards that I have equipped, literally the majority of them, at least 4 of them, have air to surface damage on them, which is limiting to the cards. All of these cards will need to be re-rolled, or not necessarily re-rolled, excuse me, reacquired, because once that exclusive stat is on there, even if you get another 6-star card and you re-roll it, that exclusive stat's not re-rolling. It is what it is. So in a sense, that exclusive stat's dead for me on that card. It's not like I'm taking to flight but so much inside the game where I'm going to benefit from that air to surface damage. Those are just really trash stats. I don't really want those stats. It's just terrible. So that's the terrible part about the Omega cards. Now they do have something coming in this next update for us to be able to convert the cards from character to character. This is where we start getting into the bad part about it, right? Because the bad part about it is literally the question of why was these cards put specifically on the heroes in the first place? It just seems very questionable. So if I was to take a look, for instance, at Marvel Future Fight, all right, the partner, sister brand to Marvel Future Revolution, you could literally go to your card system inside here and you can see these Omega cards and you can view their effects. Guess what? These effects are across the board for all of your characters. So where would the Omega cards really better placed? They were probably better placed inside your squad rank, right? And then as they release more Omega cards, especially special cards, then they can have it. So for instance, like if I go to card collection inside here, I can see there's a host of cards inside here, and all my card sets that I equip or that I collect as I go through this collection, there's a collection bonus for all of those cards, and they're all sitting there. So as I collect a set of cards, I get a bonus stat that applies to my entire team inside here. It's a really cool way to implement the premium card system. There's even more that's going to come, because I guarantee you we're going to end up with this in future play, where we're going to get Omega cards that are going to look the same way as this. So we already have the grade quality of cards. So you can see like most of my cards are 6 or 6 or 7, because that's literally what you're hunting for, right? Is that 6 or 7 grade, so you can get top stat effects of those cards. But then what they added most recently in the past year was the star effects on the cards. On the premium cards, you basically got to unlock a specific trait. So I'll show it to you. So basically, I got my bonus stats and I had my fixed options, and then I had random options. But then once I wanted to level up the character cards more after I got the grade on them, I could basically go in here, and each star gave me a new stat. You see them? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 stats. Now I'm trying to maximize the roll on those stats. I can also try to craft this card so that way I can get better stats on it, meaning like, you know, hey, I want to go craft combine, and I want to say these are the cards I want, right? So I can, for instance, go, let's use this card, right? And let's select the options that I want on the card. So now I can select varying options on this card to try to improve them. So if I wanted to, I could literally say, okay, I'm going to play crystals so that way I can lock this dodge, lock the cooldown duration, lock the max HP, lock the critical damage, and even lock the physical attack, just to try to re-roll the fire resist stat on this card by using another premium card. That's where you're at with the card system, and where you can see that it's most likely going to come to this game. There's like very few things inside this game that are new to this game in terms of what it's already done inside Marvel Future Fight, which is why I always bring it up to you. The point is, the bad was, where was the developer decision that these cards were going to be exclusive to characters and not just part of the entire squad rank rewards? It had probably been better off there, and as they introduce new, more premium cards or more card sets inside the system, that this was how it was going to benefit the team overall. Because think about it in this regard, right? If I have the ability to switch the cards over to another character, then the character is going to benefit from there. The only thing that you're doing is increasing my effort in order to give those characters the same stats that I'm using on another card, right? Especially, for instance, if I'm looking at this card and I'm already saying, well, the exclusive stat doesn't mean anything to me, it's worthless, but I can still benefit from the fixed effect and the bonus stats, right? So I can literally equip those cards and move them around to any character, because I'm going to likely do that anyways without very much thought, because air to surface damage, Doctor Strange, who the hell cares, right? If you're going to switch it over and I decide that I'm going to convert it to, you know, a Captain America, for instance, is going to be ground to surface damage, right? Ground to air damage, right? So it's just going to be worthless. So you're really questioning the bad intention inside there. Is literally, once again, where we see this now. It's implementation. It always seems to be implementation in this game, and most of the time the implementation is hindered because of the greed effect that comes with Netmarble. Like, for instance, somebody in the comment section literally said something to me about, well, you know, the system is no. You know what? I commented on Halfsin's video that he made about the companion system, or Null's video, Kraken Null's video, and I literally said it, and I was like, yeah, it's probably going to be behind some RNG layers and some pay to win system. And I was like, well, why do you automatically assume that it's going to be pay to win? Who said that was going to pay to win? I'm like, is there any system inside Marvel Future Revolution that is not pay to win at this point? Could you point me to a system that is double layered or triple layered in RNG and isn't pay to win in this game? Do you know Netmarble? Like, I mean, it's Netmarble's style of play. I'll give you guys the best example of letting you know how pay to win Marvel is. If you were to, and I'm bring back up Marvel Future Fight again, because it is Netmarble, so I want to point out something to you guys. If you went to Timeline Battle, which was a mode that's pretty much dimension duels, right? So if I got in here and I went to Timeline Battle, and we said Timeline Battle is pretty goddamn good, right? It's a decent enough mode. Well, they added this new mode inside the game, right? Where it was literally, you know, the challenger tier. Basically, it was the tier above tiers. So in order to play inside this mode, however, you needed to be of the elites. Like, I mean, elites, you know what I mean? They basically made this game mode inside here for literally not even just the 1%. This is like the 5% of the game. You are talking about maybe 50 players. I don't even think it's 100 players can participate in this mode. But the weird part about this is that the game mode in and of itself, the addition of this tier, is so interesting because the mechanics that they have inside the design of it would be something all the players would benefit from. But this mode exists for just the top 50 players. So if they're doing that in Marvel Future Fight, a game that is pretty much what, 5 years, 6 years old at this point, and they're doing it here, what makes you think that they won't do it inside Marvel Future Revolution, a game that they already have largely been paid to win? It comes into the greed implementation of the comic cards, right? Because there was no reason to set the comic cards apart differently from the way they had them inside Marvel Future Fight. These stats could have literally been omitted and applied to the squad overall inside this window, and literally all the characters would have just benefited from it. But no. Now I got to purchase more cards. I got to get into that role of collecting more cards. It would have eliminated the card storage system. I would have had no reason to have a shared card storage. I got to just literally just use the cards as I saw fit, collected them, trashed them, did whatever I wanted to, and just been done with it. But nah, I got another system in which I can spend crystals on to boost up, you know, my card storage. Doesn't really make sense. So for instance, like you see here, I've got almost 150 cards inside storage that I was just holding on to because I didn't know how the system was going to be designed in terms of the next future iteration of, should I just crash these cards together? Should I just smash them and just move on? Should I hold on to them? Because is the method to convert going to be more expensive than it is just for me to collect on that character? That's basically when we'll find out tomorrow night. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they have to say. I'm not very optimistic, just being honest. So let's talk about the good now, because I don't, and I've done things in reverse because I don't want to leave people off with the idea that everything's all doom and gloom and everything's bad. Because on its whole, I really actually like the card system inside the game. Like if by, you know, what I mean is the design. I like seeing the Omega cards. They look very quality in terms of the art styles and the art pictures that they pulled from comic book covers and everything like that. They're really cool, and even the card sets in themselves, they make sense. And the best part of all is that there are free-to-play options that are very viable in here. I've already spoken to you guys about the strength of the Hydra, Xandurf, Midgardia, you know, combo set that works inside there, basically 2 of one, 4 of the other, or so forth, back and forth. How that set really works for you. I've already talked about how, you know, like even if you're a whale player, you're working into the special system and you're still making up card sets in there because, like, for instance, somebody's gonna really want the Spider-Man and Black Widow. This is probably going to be one of the most sought after, this is probably one of the most sought after card sets inside the game, period, because this is a PvP dream. And even if you wanted to and just use Black Widow and Spider-Man together, you're still getting that 2%, that 2-set effect of attack. And most people might even just say, fuck it, I'm gonna eschew to you know, any of the other cards because I want the 2-set and the 4-set effect to get those defensive pierce numbers. It's an amazing set if you're looking at it that way. So there's definitely card sets and definitely plays here that you can really see, and it allows potential for growth because as they add in more, you know, cards like they did for the Dark Domain set, not necessarily, you know, the best of sets inside here, but it's not so bad. Like I can see this set being pretty good for like Captain America, for instance, his HP and defense getting that hit, that definitely good bonus. But as they add more cards, as they add more sets, there's going to be good play. They could play around potentially with just having, you know, variations where they're not just specifically limited in here, and they could do something similar to let's see if I can pull this up, where they could do something similar to Marvel Future Fight, where instead of having the set specifically spelled out there, they could basically look at like a character's bonuses that they get from teaming up with other characters inside the game. I don't think I can pull it up right now because I'm kind of weird about pulling that stuff up or whatever. But basically, like, say like I wanted to use this character. I don't know why I always have trouble pulling stuff up in Marvel Future Fight. It's almost like it's weird because it's almost like I have a fucking difficult time, and therefore I can see why it is. But like, say like I had this character, right? Like I could use these characters in conjunction, and the characters on a whole would get bonuses from basically being on a team together. That's essentially what it is, right? Well, they could do the same thing with the cards, where like, you know, okay, well, mixing 2 Doctor Strange cards will give you this kind of, you know, exclusive stat. So that way, if you had the Doctor Strange Dark Domain card and you had the Doctor Strange Dark Zone card, and you form that up with some some other cards and you get a better set or something like that. It's always nice to see that kind of stuff or whatever. So again, we're back to the main issue here, which is that the design of things is really, really well done inside this game, but the implementation is the part that's really hard. I don't really have a lot negative to say. I just have things that I wish they had done better. I am really, really looking forward tomorrow night to see what they are planning on doing for the conversion, and I'm praying and I'm praying and I'm praying that they don't go to greed route, because at most right now the numbers for this game, I would have to say, are not where they were when it first began, and I think it's very off-putting to a lot of people because there's so much pay to win inside the game. And that doesn't mean that you can't play free to play, because the card system is the one place where you can see that the free to play can still shine inside here. So take it for what it is. We're going to definitely jump into that live stream tomorrow and get a live reaction. I'm praying that we get some good stuff. I'm going to imagine we're going to get CM Kim and Agent M giving us the live stream again. Hopefully it's not pre-recorded, but it will be what it will be. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys then, and hopefully you guys stop on by for that chat. Until next time, guys. Peace.